Mirasee.
I'm Joe Apfelbaum, and you're listening to Making It. I run a business called Ajax Union, and we're a B2B marketing agency based in Brooklyn. We support companies by creating their marketing funnels and then filling it with qualified leads. I'm also a certified Google trainer and a LinkedIn expert. Well, growing up, I went to a Jewish school that was boys only. And one of the things that my teachers would often tell me, and I don't know where this even came from, like they would just tell me that I wasn't up to par. And they did it with nonverbal communication. But there was one particular incident where a teacher asked me to get up and read, and I wasn't a particularly good reader. And I said, okay, let me get up and read. And I started reading, and it looked like everyone in the class was laughing at me. And the teacher maybe thought I was making trouble or something, but I really was having a really hard time reading. And he said something that what I heard was, "You are really terrible at this. You are an idiot. Go sit down." That's basically what I heard. And as a result of that, it kind of shaped a belief in my mind that I need to prove the world that I'm not really an idiot. I'm not an idiot. I'm not an idiot. But I also first said, I don't want to feel like that ever again. So I'm never going to get up and make a fool out of myself. And I'm going to try to always kind of shy away into the kind of like the background. And at a certain point, when I was like, maybe it was fifth grade, I found a way to be able to show everybody how smart I am by becoming the class clown, by getting everybody's attention. Because the truth is, I was quiet and I was picking everything up in class. But I got really bored quickly because there were 30 kids in my class. It was a pretty big school and they had many grades of the same grade. So I became the troublemaker. I became the kid who entertained everybody. So I was friendly with everybody, but I felt like I really didn't have too many friends because I had that weight of me feeling like I'm not enough. My goal was to become financially independent. I watched my mother try to grow her store in the Lower East Side for a decade and eventually go out of business. She never made it to the $1 million mark. And I once went to her when I was 17 and I was like, "Ma, I don't want to experience what you're experiencing in your store, but you sent me to school to become a rabbi. How am I going to make a living? How am I going to feed my family? How am I going to have abundance in my life, which is what I desire?" And she said, "Get in the car." She drove me to the Brooklyn Public Library. And we went into the library and she said, "In here, you can educate yourself on anything." She said, "If you go to college, formal education will make you a living. You'll be able to make a living by doing that. But self education will make you a fortune." And I started reading books about computers, about web design, about all different types of interesting things. And although I had that like voice in my head saying I'm an idiot, I had also had a voice in my head saying, "You can do it. You can learn it." Because my mother showed me a lot of love. And when I started my business, when I started to focus and I started my business, I built one of the fastest growing companies in America. And I did that very, very quickly. I did that within a few years. And I look back and I think to myself, did I use any of the stuff that I learned in school to build one of the fastest growing companies in America? And the answer is no. I learned it from books, from courses, from coaching, from mentors. I did not learn it from school. You don't have to be lucky. You have to be strategic. You have to work smart, not just hard. You have to put in the time. You have to put in the hours. You have to grind, but you have to also work smart. In Hebrew, they say, lo bekoach ela bemoach, which means sharpen the saw, as Stephen Covey says in The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. So for me, it was about understanding how to apply knowledge and how to do it with a tremendous amount of focus. I was not focused from the first 10 years of me just dabbling in many different things. And when I started working at Ajax Union, my partner stopped me and he's like, "Joe, you have to get rid of all the side hustles." I said, "How can I get rid of my IT company? How can I get rid of my web design? How can I get rid of my construction company and my real estate and this and that?" He's like, "Joe, you have to get rid of everything because if you want to build $1 million business, you have to focus." And so I looked around and I asked my wife then, now my former wife, I asked, "What's going on? What should I do?" And they said, "Take the risk, do it, focus. You want to become a millionaire, focus." And so I decided to sell the IT company. I rolled in some stuff into Ajax Union. I got rid of the construction company. I actually sold it to one of my workers and I was all in. I had one partner, I had one business, and I had one product that I sold. It was called the Annubi plan. where we created articles, blogs, classified ads, and we just did SEO for small businesses. And we serviced over 1,100 companies. We were one of the fastest growing companies in America. We got up to 75 employees. And then I realized I don't want to be doing this. I don't just want to be spinning my wheels with hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of clients. I don't want to be doing that. I had to change the game. They say you are the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. So I started hanging out with other millionaire entrepreneurs. And the one thing I saw about all of them is that they had values, that they were fit. They cared about their bodies. I was 265 pounds. I was eating my emotions. I was ignoring I was like ignoring everything. I was just focused on making money because that's all my mother told me to care about. Make money, make money, make money. And I stopped and I started to think to myself, okay, I know how to make money. I'm really good at this. But how do I make a life? How do I live a life that I'm proud of? And I started researching and reading book after book and doing personal development and going through a whole journey. And I realized I have to tackle my health. The point where I feel like I made it was the point where I actually felt complete. Completion. Feeling that I am enough. It was a moment where I sat down and I realized that no matter what happens in my life, I know me. I know that I am not the voice in my head. I know that I am not my emotions. I know that my job here in this world is not to try to change everything, but to observe. And of course, make the world a better place. And of course, be on a journey. And of course, set big, hairy, audacious goals. Of course, figure out who you want to help and how you want to help them and build those relationships and go deeper. But the sense of completion, it only came in my late 30s. I just sat there and I was like, wow, I made it. I made it. Most people make it to the end of their life and they realize they've never really lived. That's not me. I'm living every single day. I have enthusiasm. I have joy. I have power. I have freedom because I get to choose to be happy. I get to choose what to focus on. I get to choose to be able to help hungry entrepreneurs go from frustration to motivation. And when I help one person, when I make a difference for one person, that for me is completion. And I do that multiple times per day. I feel complete multiple times per day. And if I'm not feeling complete, I got to take a pause. I got to take a moment and I got to observe what's going on. How is my ego taking over my life? How is my identity making my life difficult right now and creating problems where there are no problems? So realizing that and coming to the state of completion allows me to really be all in. What does making it really mean? At the end of the day, it means being in charge of your life. Everyone defines success in a different way, and fulfillment is very, very personal. But at the end of the day, if you have the ability to spend your time with whoever you want, for as long as you want, anywhere you want, then you're the person that made it. It's not about having more money than the other person because there's always going to be somebody else that has more money than you. It's not about having more skills than somebody else because there's always somebody that's going to be a bigger expert than you. It's about knowing yourself and understanding what would you like to accomplish. Do you own your day? Time is something that we cannot control. We can only control our priorities. So if you're able to set your priorities, if you're able to get rid of your distractions, if you're able to have the body that you want, the mind that you want, the health that you want, the relationships that you want, have the things that you want, you're able to be who you want to be, that's making it. But everyone gets to choose what making it is for them. That's the beauty of choice. You're able to choose what success looks like, and you're able to feel deep, deep, deep in your heart, is this resonating with me on a deep level? And if it's not, you're able to change it. That's the beauty of living an empowered and aware life. I'm Joe Apfelbaum, and you've been listening to Making It. You can find me at www.joelinkedin.com. That'll take you right to my LinkedIn profile. And if you want to watch a special presentation on how the marketing funnel works, check out www.ajaxunion.com.
Making It is part of the Mirasee FM podcast network, which also includes such shows as Course Lab and Just Between Coaches. This episode of Making It was assembled by Jeff Govertson. Cynthia Lamb produced the episode. Danny Berman is our associate producer. Danny Inney is our executive producer. Post-production was by Post Office Sound. To catch the great episodes that are coming up on Making It, go ahead and follow us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you're listening right now. And if you liked the show, please leave us a starred review. It's the best way to help us get these ideas to more people. Thank you. We'll see you next time.